There we go.
And we are in color, my man. Do the thing, Danny Thompson.
Well, good evening, everybody. I was expecting the I-95 intro, but this is Beyond the Buzzer 4. You know what? When I give a date, this is the Thursday before the Super Bowl edition of the show. I'm your host, Dave Thompson, senior NBA writer for the 3pointconversion.com. For those who've never been to this show, welcome. Where have you been the entire time?
And for those thank you for getting a hold of your life. Yes.
Yes, and for those who always stop by, including you, Rodney, welcome. For the next hour plus tonight, myself and the man to the right of me, 3-point conversion zone, the studio of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash. Good evening, Kyle.
What's going on, Danny Thompson? Hey, listen, glad to come in. By the way, how you going to gripe about Derek Jeter being in the intro, then we don't have an intro, and then you gripe about that? I would have thought you'd have seen the silver lining.
Listen, there's no silver lining, but the one silver lining is if you're looking for a haircut, the best place in Orlando to get it from is our good friends at Mentality Barbershop at 2611 North Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Check out Corey, Dio, the entire crew over there. And also, speaking of crews, if you're looking to get your business into a bigger stratosphere, a bigger space, and also get a new GIF in the process, check out our good friends at Valor, as you see in the top corner of my left-hand corner at Valor. That's VALUR.us. And tell Jay we said hello as well.
And not only will they help you with snacks, they'll help you prepare gifts for your business as well, because they may deal in peanut butter on occasion.
Not sure how I'm going to take that. But Kyle,
you say, hey, listen, you say GIFs, I'm going to check you every time. I warned you, Danny Thompson.
If you're on Facebook Live, YouTube's, and every other platform, Zingo TV, I-95, if you have comments for yourself, like I said, leave them in the corner, and Bobby, Blackjack, myself, or Kyle will post it on the air, and we'll definitely talk about it. We want you guys to give feedback. Also, over the next hour, we're going to talk about a lot of different topics. So, all right, Kyle, let's get it started. Let's go with the hot topic of the day. I know the Super Bowl is what everybody's going to talk about, and we're going to spend the lion's share of the show talking about the Super Bowl, okay? But there was a line that was also the news this week, Kyle. When you get to Monday, there was a line in the news, and that line was the name of. Hey, listen, Matthew Stafford was the line on the list this week. Oh, I'm sorry, the former line on the list. Bert, there we go.
So now hold up, and when you can, Rodney, let me know in the comments who is Bert and who is Ernie, because I really think there are times where that role can switch. I'm just going to throw that out there because, I mean, Danny Thompson and I have the capacity to be hetero life mates that do a sports show together and get the crazy shenanigans. I get that. But I don't know who's who in that scenario. I just don't.
Listen, all I know is Rodney must be angry because the Carolina Panthers didn't get Matthew Stafford. That's for sure. The team that ended up with Matthew Stafford was a team I didn't expect, Kyle. And Kyle, I guess, I'm sorry, Ernie, by the way, it's not Bert.
Hey, listen, I'll break the song up. Rubber ducky or the wood. Anyways, moving on.
Listen, I'll bust out the MOP version of Andy up as half the members of Bert and Ernie. All right. Listen, I will jack under construction this week. Don't worry, Rodney. Don't make me come find your show on Sunday. All right. I mean, I'm sorry. They're going to have a show on Sunday because the Panthers aren't playing in the Super Bowl Sunday. So I guess Under Construction has to be on the air. Big shout out to the angry Black fan Jamal Darby and my man Matt Kaiser Sose on that show. Outstanding show. So go check them out on YouTube and follow them on all forms of social media. But let's get back to the big news of the week. Like I said, Matthew Stafford was the beginning of the week. Matthew Stafford became, well, I don't know if he was a disgruntled employee of the Detroit Lions, but Matthew Stafford, Kyle, is, I say, a top 10 quarterback.
I agree.
When he's given protection, I said, shouts to Rodney. Yeah, get better. COVID is just. We'll talk about that later. We'll definitely give shouts later. We'll keep Rodney in that. So, like I said, he's dealing with COVID right now. Like I said, hope our thoughts and prayers for him to get better because we got to have control sometime in life. We got to have our team leader in trolling because obviously Carolina ain't leading nothing. All right.
Oh no, he's back. Oh my gosh, Danny Thompson.
Hey, listen, this is what it is. All right. So Matthew Stafford, like I said, I think Kyle's a top 10 quarterback, and there are multiple places where I think that he could have gone and could have impacted in, I think, a game-changing way. We talk about the team that's the hat you're wearing, the San Francisco 49ers is one of them. I think if Matthew Stafford played for the 49ers, it'd be a completely different story. If he was even in the same division with the Chicago Bears, if Stafford's quarterback in the Bears could be playing on Sunday because they have such a good defense. There are a multitude of players. I mean, if you even think about, I don't know, Kyle. I mean, I might be drawing a blank here. What other? I mean, there's some teams that even the Carolina Panthers have Matthew Stafford. They could have been a playoff team.
Oh, I mean, it's not that so much that you aren't remembering him, Danny. It's that the list is that bleeding long, right? I mean, I'm sure, for example, the Red Tails may have had a great time checking out Matt Stafford as their new starting quarterback with Alex Smith falling apart as he was. Well, hi, precious. Perhaps the Bears as well. Perhaps, depending on the Viking situation, that could be a situation where Kirk Cousins. It's funny. I went to the Red Tails to talking about Kirk Cousins. I love you, Bobby.
I love that.
And there's so many other states. Yeah, we got it. Damn. No.
Eric Stahl, continue.
Yes. There's a whole situation there where there's just a whole bunch of stops, and I just pulled a few extra ones out of my hand. The Falcons could use Stafford probably, except for Matt Ryan's contract. I think that's something we've said ad nauseum at this show at this point.
Matt Ryan's better than Matthew Stafford, by the way. But continue.
That's something we can talk about at another juncture. But the punchline is this, my good friend. Matt Stafford instantly makes a lot of teams better. And it could be argued that for some teams he is a Super Bowl addition. He is the one that could get them to make a deep playoff run. The Colts, thank you. That's when I left off the list. The Colts, heck, if for whatever reason, I could see them packaging Tannehill in a trade, theoretically, if I'm the Titans, to get a quarterback upgrade there. Not that they would do that. I'm not saying they should have done that. I'm not saying any of that. But, there's just I say what I'm saying is that you could basically drop Stafford in a lot of places, and he instantly improves that team. And let's say there's somebody out there, what? Kyle and Danny say that Stafford's a top 10 quarterback? They're insane. Okay, that's adorable. Fine. You don't think that? Tell me that there isn't half the league that could get improved with Stafford being injected. This is a guy that regularly throws 4,000 or 5,000 yards a year, even without Calvin Johnson. So there you go.
I mean, he was throwing 4,000 yards with Kenny Golladay. And no offense, Kenny Golladay is an outstanding receiver, but he's not healthy half the time. Marvin Jones, TJ Hawkinson, he's not throwing to Pro Bowl wide receivers on a regular basis, and he gets it done. The only thing is that his offensive line just seems to bail on him on a regular basis. And on top of that, the reason why the offensive line bails him is the reason why Stafford can't stay healthy.
Correct.
Now, he now goes to the Los Angeles Rams. I wish I had the dancing video of the Rams, the Go Rams in the 80s. And now he's been flip-flop for Jared Goff. Now, 2 years ago, Jared Goff was the cat's meow as the Rams got to the Super Bowl and were embarrassed by Tom Brady. And we'll speak about Brady later.
Yeah.
Ever since then, he's been 18-13 ever since that Super Bowl run. The Rams have been disappointing on so many levels. Kyle, you talk about a team that's got a defense. We talk about how the Bears have been disappointing. Kyle, it's like the same way that Mitchell Trubisky is wasting years of guys like Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith in Chicago. Jared Goff is wasting the last 2 years of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, and let's keep it relevant to the Rams, my good friend. Another guy who had a wasted career due to quarterback injury was one Steven Jackson. Perhaps you remember him.
I mean, he saw what he did in Atlanta too. But I think at the end of the day, now it's interesting because John Lynch was interested in Matthew Stafford. But what John Lynch refuses to do in any situation, Kyle, I think you could agree with this, is John Lynch is not getting fleeced by nobody. All right.
Nope.
He'll wheel and deal just like a used car salesman, but he is not about to lose a deal. And what Detroit wanted was a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. Not only did they get a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford, they got multiple first-round picks, and they also got a quarterback in return.
Yeah,
Kyle,
absolutely insane deal.
Here's my question for you. When you look at the deal on paper, who do you think won? Was it the Rams or was it the Lions on paper?
The Lions, from a franchise standpoint. Now, are they going to look better in 2021? Probably not. But here's what I do know is at least they can have Goff in that division and at least give a semblance of competition. Now, I think what they're going to find out with that offensive line that Jared Goff's going to be in big trouble fast. But I think what they're also relying on is that Goff has a bit more credibility. But listen, when it comes to this trade, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I scoff at Goff. Sure, Goff made it to a Super Bowl, but was it really him? Is it though? We all know that Todd Gurley was carrying the load most of that year before his situation with his knee got out of hand. And I mean, we mentioned another guy going to the Falcons from the Rams. Am I right? No, but see here, the whole situation with that trade, it's surmised this way. The Rams simply gave up too much in a division where the competition is fierce. And I don't necessarily mean fierce competition like who the hell wants to win the NFC East competition. I mean, we have good football teams there, MVP caliber players on two different teams, for example. And oh, by the way, the one who the quarterback no one likes is the one that's been to the Super Bowl most recently. And of course, I'm referring to Jimmy Garoppolo. So there's that. And by the way, Jared Goff did not get embarrassed by Tom Brady. He got embarrassed by that defense. Let's be clear. Tom Brady didn't play worth a damn in that Super Bowl either. Granted, the Rams defense had the most to do with that.
And good point. I mean, but even after that, you knew that it was Jared Goff's time was up. That, Kyle, we all know in the playoffs, you play your best player. If your best player can literally walk on the field, he's going to play. If he is a guy worth quality. Jared Goff did have thumb surgery in December, but he was able to throw passes the week of that playoff game against the Rams, and guess what? Right. They still went with a backup quarterback anyway. You know it's a bad situation when you've been the starting quarterback all year. You said you're fit to go, but you were left as the emergency backup quarterback and had to be thrown into a playoff game because the guy that replaced you got hurt. And you're making $100-something million on top of that.
Anyway.
So you're looking at all that money, and at that point, if you are Sean McVay, it's kind of like Carson Wentz. The only difference is the Rams got rid of him. Because there's no way Jared Goff, after having that happen to him, can be the leader of that team again. There's no way.
Anybody who asks why it took him this long, the reason's simple. They got to a Super Bowl with him. He was given too much hype. Over and above, people out there who were haters, like you, Danny Thompson, of one Jeff Fisher, was very quick to blame Fisher for all the struggles that Goff had. Here we're coming to find out maybe, just maybe, Goff was actually a limited quarterback all this time.
And the crazy thing is, this now makes, 7 consecutive years, and going for the next 2 years, that the Rams do not own their first-round pick.
Yeah.
They've given away their first-round pick for 7 consecutive years.
Is it?
And that's including the next 2 years.
Oh, no. Goff was the 8th. Right. You're right. I felt like it was more for a minute.
They traded the year they traded for Goff, they gave up first-round picks.
Right.
They also gave away 2 first-rounders for Jalen Ramsey. Now they've given away 2 first-rounders for now Stafford. They gave up a first rounder for Brandon Cooks from New England.
I forgot about that. Right.
So essentially, you're right, Kyle. There was a fleecing going on out in Detroit. Because here's the thing: the Rams have once again decided that first round picks don't matter. Okay, rebuilding with first round picks when your offense doesn't have a over the top playmaker, your offensive line is a little shaky. And your defense outside of Ramsey on one corner and Aaron Donald in the middle does still need help. You've now mortgaged your next 2 first-round picks on a 33-year-old Matt Stafford. Now, mind you, Stafford's contract is beautiful. It's $43 million over the next 2 seasons. To get his production for that salary is freaking phenomenal. But, man, that's 2 first-round picks on top of Jared Goff.
And let's not act like, by the way, he's going to have that production in one of the best defensive divisions in the league. Side note.
And here's the other part about it, Kyle, that's interesting. Now, when you look at the deal, Kyle, it's also the Rams also traded 2 second-round picks and 2 third. So think about this. Go back to 2016, Kyle.
Yep.
When this deal happened, when they got Jared Goff, they gave up 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and 2 third-rounders to move up to get Jared Goff in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
The thing was, they moved ahead to get. I think they traded with the Lions, and then now they had to throw in 2 first-rounders and a third-rounder to get Goff out of there. That's a lot of picks for a guy that's either now there and now gone. Kyle,
but they got to a Super Bowl for it.
I mean, the thing is, did Jared Goff deserve one more season at least?
No.
In LA?
No. Once you decide that it's time to move off a guy, you get him the hell out. I agree that sooner is always better. Not to mention, I think McVay he won't be on the hot seat this offseason, I don't think. The following one, he might be. So to wait that year and then to have to do all this transition stuff in a year where he's on the hot seat, not really a good, and maybe that's his motivation, maybe it's not, but one has to think it plays a role. Moreover, at some point here, they're going to need to start thinking about extending players on defense or what they're going to do to keep that core in place. So again, sooner the better in order to get rid of Jared Goff, to maybe improve their contract situation a little bit, and who knows, maybe there's somebody they see in the 2022 or the 2023 class that is what they're targeting for the next thing. I have no idea.
Let's say this, and Kyle, here's the reason why the Rams did make this trade. Kyle, you mentioned the fact that the Rams aren't getting younger.
True.
If you look at the new Rams, Aaron Donald's about to turn 30, and Jalen Ramsey's about to turn 27. All right. Mm-hmm. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are 29 and 28. Their starting right tackle Rob Havenstein just turned 29. Leonard Floyd, who had an outstanding year next to Mr. Donald, just turned 29 in September. And John Johnson is going to have to be brought back, but he's in his mid 20s.
And let's not forget the whole situation with not Eric Winston. I'm forgetting the name of their tackle, but he's in his mid to late 30s as well. And
he's 40. Whitworth, the left tackle, he's 40.
Whitworth, he's 40. Damn. I mean, good on him. Super cool guy, by the way. I actually met him when he was still a Bengal, but he's somebody. He's an aging guy, and oh, by the way, now he has an ACL that he's dealing with, so that's going to be a big deal as well.
So if you're the Rams, like you're right, you look at the talent and they're all in their prime. It's win now. Mm-hmm. Because to your point, Sean McVay is 35 years old, but he's on the hot seat now. It's one thing to go to the Super Bowl, but the Rams haven't gotten anywhere close since that magical year. They got Jalen Ramsey out there to lock down one side of the field, but the Rams still haven't been explosive since. Stafford does bring a sense of explosiveness. Now, we saw how good Cam Akers was in the playoffs running the football, and Darrell Henderson. They have running backs. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are not exactly household names, but to Kyle's point, like kind of the Buffalo Bills, they just get it done.
Well, they at least have Stephon Diggs. But yeah, to your point, if you have a balanced offense, you don't necessarily need a big name for a big play.
But if anybody can make a big play, it's Mr. Stafford. So I'll say this. The Rams are going to have to do something in the offseason because you don't have a first-round pick this year to do anything with. You still need help on defense, and you still need the one thing the Rams do not have, and they haven't had since Brandon Cooks is gone, is an explosive big play receiver.
Agreed.
Because Cooper Kupp is better in the slot, making he's a slot guy, third down guy. He's very dependable. Robert Woods is a number 2 wide receiver. He's never going to be a number 1 in this league. The Rams need an X receiver or a number 1 wide receiver. I think that was Jared Goff's thing that he didn't. They were trying to make. I forgot about the tight ends as well too. They have a good set of tight ends with Higbee and Everett. They have good tight ends. But in order to win in this league, and we watched the Buffalo Bills get better, we talked about how Josh Allen's progression. And to Kyle's point, and Kyle's been saying this literally since 2020, since last year, a big play wide receiver makes things better. Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen a better quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins made Kyler Murray a better quarterback. What the Eagles and the Rams have not done for their 2 guys, and this is the reason why they are where they are, is they've never got them a young wide receiver that's going to go over the top. Or not even a young receiver, go get a wide receiver, go get a disgruntled wide receiver.
Or if they do, they don't stay healthy. There's that.
Deshaun Jackson in Philadelphia is never healthy. He's a big play waiting to happen, but his hamstrings also waiting to get pulled at the same time. Mm-hmm. Alshon Jeffrey's never been a separation wide receiver. He's dangerous in the red zone, dangerous on jump balls, but he's not that guy who's going to explode down the field. In LA, as much as I love Robert Woods, he's not going to go downfield on you. Brandon Cooks was supposed to be that guy. And it lasted 1 or 2 years, but 1 year they did get to the Super Bowl with Brandon Cooks.
Or hell, I mean, if you want to go back far enough, Danny Amendola was going to be a big deal until he got multiple freak injuries, including a collarbone injury that darn near stabbed him in the heart and threatened not only his career but his life.
And Kyle, as you look back on it, as you look at the market now, we talked about this last week on the show. We talked about the open quarterback market. The one team that has to be extremely happy about all this is the Houston Texans. Why? Why, Danny? Why are you saying the Houston Texans should be happy? Because the asking price for Deshaun Watson has gone through the roof now.
Yes.
If Matthew Stafford cost 2 first-rounders and a starting quarterback, and Matthew Stafford is a top 10 quarterback, top 10, top 12, wherever you want to put him there. Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback, probably a top 3 quarterback. If you actually look at the numbers and look at the impact, it's the fact that the Texans were just horrible this year.
I'll definitely sign off on top 5. Top 3.
I mean, Kyle, here's the thing. If his team was 12-4 instead of 4-12, with the numbers he put up this year, he might have been the MVP of this league this year.
Oh, indubitably, without question. Now, granted, the argument you made, he's got numbers because it's garbage time. But listen. Let's
5,000 yards is 5,000 yards.
B about and I'm stealing this from Nick Wright for what it's worth. So he's a a Chiefs homer, so you know it's credible, right? This time about 390 days ago, they were up 24-0 in the conference championship over the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. And where the beep are they now?
It's called Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien, the GM. Absolutely.
And Bill O'Brien in that front office. But if Deshaun Watson's numbers, Kyle, is almost 5,000 yards, 33 or 38 touchdowns with 7 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You flip that record and make it 12-4 instead of 4-12, Deshaun Watson's the MVP candidate easily.
Moreover, I might be in position to pick him over Russell Carrington Wilson. He definitely deserves it way more than your guy, Levon II.
I'm sorry, that's back-to-back Super Bowl winning Patrick Levon Mahomes.
Excuse me, that is a team honor, not an individual honor, sir.
2-time Super Bowl MVP. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
And he was the MVP of those games, no question.
No, he's going to be a 2-time Super Bowl MVP on Sunday. That's all I'm telling you.
Oh, that's
Spoiler
interesting.
Alert.
We'll have to get into that.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
You have a whole lot of stuff that I think you're forgetting about, and your basketball mind may not have absorbed fully yet.
Listen, I already say.
Shot fired.
Yes, there'll be lots of firing on Sunday, but it won't be from the cans.
And by the way, yeah, right, exactly. And by the way, Rodney, as much as we mentioned you as a troll, the toxic culture is a good point. No question.
Yeah. So when you look at the market now, Deshaun Watson, I mean, Deshaun Watson might end up being traded for it might be the bigger package than Herschel Walker at this point. Like if it costed the Lions 2 first round, if it costed the Rams 2 first rounders and a starting quarterback to get Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, like I said, Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback. He's okay. Deshaun Watson, let's look at the market now. They had said it was 3 first rounders and 2 second rounders and a player.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, somebody might end up this might end up being like a Paul George type, James Harden type of deal, where like some team has ended up with pick swaps and everything else.
Like, is the over or under set at 3 picks now, right?
First rounders, easy.
Yeah.
It's over. And the thing is, depending on which team it is, how many first rounders it is. Because I'll tell you this, if it's the 49ers, I'm asking for 4 first rounders. Because what's going to happen is Watson's going to make the 49ers a contender easily and talk about winning the NFC almost every year. So you don't want no picks in the top 20, but the blow apart the 20s or 30s. Oh, no. You want to send Watson to a place that's going to be pretty mediocre to bad. Okay? If it's the Jets, I'd say 3 first rounders and Sam Darnold, for example. The Dolphins, if they want to give up Tua, 3 first rounders and Tua.
The problem with using that strategy with the team that's that good right now is they're probably in cap hell and need the picks in their own way for that. But I'll say this. The one place where you mentioned a team like, for example, the 49ers have an advantage is they have a quarterback to ship as well, right? Let's say, other teams that fall in this category, the Titans, the Dolphins with Tua. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's there. Darnold with the Jets. I know that's been a pretty popular one that's going on right now. I could even be a conspiracy theorist based on comments that are taken way out of context and out of control from Aaron Charles Rodgers and imply that that is a possibility where you get picks and Aaron Charles Rodgers for Deshaun Watson. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No. But what I'm trying to say is teams with a proven starting quarterback in the mix are going to have an advantage in picks.
Or if you have a boatload of young talent on defense that you're willing to get back, that, like the 49ers have a boatload of talent. The Redskins have a boatload of talent on defense. You can give some of that up to kind of mitigate some of the losses.
Because, hey, chances are J.J. Watt's going too. They need to do something.
Well, the word is, I think one of the better places for Deshaun Watson is Carolina, but that's just not going to happen. Just a little birdie on the word. Listening to a podcast, Quick Blitz. Big shout outs to my girl Sheena Quick and Vashti Hurt for their outstanding podcast every week about the Carolina Panthers. And on the pod last week, Sheena had mentioned that Deshaun Watson and the Carolina Panthers will probably never happen. Why? Deshaun Watson has a very, very close relationship with one Cameron Jarrell Newton.
That would be a factor.
Watson played on Cam Newton's 7-on-7 flag football team in high school, and Watson considers Cam Newton not only like a big brother, but someone who he's very close with and confides in with a lot of things and gets his opinion on a lot of things. AKA,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Kyle. It might answer my own question.
Yeah, well, this I'm wondering if this is the situation that leads to the speculation about Watson kneeling before Darth Vader to be the latest Sith in the Empire, known as the New England Patriots.
It really depends on how that relationship between Cam Newton and the Patriots ended up.
My point exactly. And it seems to be pretty good so far. With the offseason will truly reveal, to your point.
Well, we all know that Cam Newton and the New England Patriots probably won't. No, it's not a trap, this one. All I'm saying is that I don't think Newton and the Patriots will be siding with each other for another season.
By the way, Danny, I know the latest offer for Deshaun Watson.
What is it, Kyle?
And it works. 1 million draft picks.
That's probably what's going to be the answer here. But no, but on the podcast, Sheena had mentioned, Sheena had mentioned that the relationship is, and thinking Deshaun's case is he saw how they did Cam Newton and how Newton was unceremoniously walked out the door in Carolina. No matter what side you take in that situation, it wasn't a pretty divorce. And if you're Deshaun Watson, are you wondering if they did your mentor and someone you look up to like that, how are they going to do at the end of the day? Remember, players talk to each other. How exits happen are very essential to what happens. I'll give you an example, Kyle. I cover the NBA. Why is the New York Knicks don't sign players? Let's be honest. You look at everything else. New York, Madison Square Garden is the mecca of basketball. New York is the biggest market in the NBA.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Can I answer that?
Here he comes.
Here comes the homer. Bobby, welcome, my friend.
Oh, I see you got your Brooklyn Dodgers cap on.
Yep.
Let's hear.
The reason why players don't go to the New York Knicks is because they have the worst ownership in sports, aka James Dolan.
He's not wrong, actually. I thought it was
going to be a Brooklyn thing. Bobby does have some part. Some part
scroll, by the way, my Brooklyn stuff.
Yes, we saw your
That's why we didn't even acknowledge it. What we're saying is, the only thing that's not on the mat there is the actual Nets mascot.
Oh boy, here we go.
Which I don't think they even have one. I think that night-looking thing is gone. What I'm saying is the other part, besides Dolan, yes, being one of the worst owners of sports, is the fact of if you asked why Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving didn't sign, one of the reasons why was the season before, DeAndre Jordan hit the season with the New York Knicks and basically kind of told the culture of New York, kind of expressed to Kyrie and KD. No, that's the Lions next season, by the way.
Dang, shots fired. Apparently, Danny Thompson also will scoff at golf.
I'm scoffing for them to be kind of like the Miami Dolphins, but unsuccessful in all these first-round picks. All I'm saying, if we look at this, is the fact of DeAndre Jordan got in the ear of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant because they both look at DeAndre like a big brother. They hold him in very high regard. And from what I was told, the observation wasn't pretty. DeAndre Jordan wanted to play last year, and the Knicks were trying to lose on purpose, or not trying to play him for playing on quote unquote younger players. That got around the league. The Knicks already had a reputation. So even with a brand new front office, Leon Rose, they're trying to go the Rob Pelinka way. They went and got Tom Thibodeau. The Knicks were never a factor in free agency that year. That was this year. But Leon Rose and the whole shifting of power, no matter what would have happened, because other players talk. That's why they end up in New York, for example. In this situation, players talk. And Carolina, the old saying goes, the chickens will come to roost, and it's going to come to roost for Carolina. They missed out a chance to Deshaun Watson, a guy who played college ball at Clemson, who's from Georgia. He's basically a local kid because everybody knows him. He won a national. He beat Nick Saban, so everybody in the state. You don't think Clemson fans will drive to Charlotte with Jay Farr to go support Deshaun Watson? This man beat Nick Saban. Okay, he beat literally the you talk about the evil empire. He beat the evil empire of college football.
Let the heat flow through you. Except that, well, you'd have to say it with a southern drawl. That's right, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
Listen, this man got Dabo Swinney paid.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I don't care what you say about Trevor Lawrence or any other quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson got Dabo paid because he got him a national championship.
Facts.
All right. That's why Dabo can say and do what he wants to, because Deshaun Watson carried that team for a couple years. It transitioned to Trevor Lawrence. So it's a players talk type of league. Interesting, because Washington ends up at a place where they're in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Why? Cam Newton and Ron Rivera had a very, very good relationship in Carolina. That could also be a spot for Cam Newton next year anyway. If Deshaun doesn't get traded there, Cam Newton in the Washington Red Tails, that's a actual real life idea. Why? Because Cam Newton's best years was under Ron Rivera.
That's true.
Now, will Ron pull that trigger? We're not sure. I'm pretty sure he's going to wait to see what the market dictates. But what I'm saying is, because of relationships, that's how it works. Deshaun wanted to play for Eric Bieniemy wherever he went. EB's not the coach this year. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But I'm sure if EB was down in Jacksonville, for example, and this trade would have happened, I'm sure he would have tried to force a trade to Jacksonville. I'm not saying that would have worked, because I think Jacksonville's not going to trade Trevor Lawrence, but I'm just giving you an example. So I say all that to say this. The market now has gotten higher for Deshaun Watson, and the Texans management are doing the right thing. If they haven't done anything right in this process, they're coming out to the media and saying, we're not trading Deshaun Watson. We have no interest. AKA, you get the price up, we'll have the conversations. Because what happens in the NFL is when you tell somebody's in the market, like a housing market, when everybody wants it.
Or no, it's not that everybody wants it. It's like we know that they want to get rid of them.
Yeah. The offers, your lowball offers start coming in. Mm-hmm. But when something is not wanted and people want it, hey, GameStop.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a whole other thing. Let's not begin to talk about the whole situation with the stuff with the dangers of short selling. But I digress.
And that's what, and Rodney's point is exactly. That's what happens when you tell a quarterback that he's on the market, or tell players on the market, that price goes down. Mm-hmm. Unless you have multiple teams chasing after a player. Speaking of multiple teams chasing after a player, Kyle, before we get into the Super Bowl preview tonight, let's talk about one guy that has not been in the news but should be in the news. That's Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. The Dak Prescott in the Cowboys situation is very interesting because with so many quarterbacks in the market, like Matthew Stafford would have been a great addition in Dallas.
I agree.
A lot better than Andy Dalton, and he's from the Dallas area, would have been perfect. Now with Matthew Stafford now off the market, okay, I don't know if Dallas has enough arsenal, because they ain't giving up CeeDee Lamb, or they're not giving up any of that offensive line to go trade for Watson, because besides paying draft picks. Kyle, with Stafford gone, Watson being too expensive, and I'm not really sure about Jimmy Garoppolo. Good and well, Green Bay's not trading Aaron Rodgers to Dallas, for example. Mm-hmm. Is Jerry Jones now in a predicament where he has to go cut that checkbook and pay Prescott $40 billion a season?
Well, I'll put it this way: his options are thus, obviously, either he's trading for Dakota Prescott, signing Dakota Prescott, or he's making him part of a trade for draft picks or for a new starter. And who knows? Maybe he throws enough money at the LA Rams to trade Stafford again, and then they'll take Dakota Prescott, and Dak will be an LA Ram. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen, but there's so many teams in play that it's hard to tell. I would wonder, for example, I'm not prepared to rule to say this is something that will happen, but it could be a situation where they find themselves in a position where they're trading Dakota Prescott for, let's say, a run CMC in Carolina. Don't think it'll happen, but it would be compelling stuff, right? I think a lot of teams have themselves, or actually Dak Prescott, I don't think they'll trade in division either, so he probably won't be a red tail. I agree. I don't think he'll end up in Washington.
He'll sign in Washington if that happens.
Right. But when it comes to Dak, I'm wondering about the Bears. Just off the
I've been
top
thinking
of my head.
Chicago. I've been thinking Chicago with Prescott.
Yeah.
Because Dak can walk away from all this. You know, he's done his job in Dallas. I mean, it'd be the ultimate finger throwing situation.
See no green
Prescott
call.
to
He
Washington.
said, "Woo, woo, 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 woo." Anyway.
Yeah, he would be the perfect finger situation. You're angry that Jerry don't pay you. You go to you go to your division rival that you see twice a year and probably on Thanksgiving. Oh boy, you go play in Washington. Listen, Washington's better. Ron Rivera knows how to use a quarterback that is mobile because he's had Cam Newton, and he's got young.
Just look at what he did in the playoff game. Forget about that whole concept there. He didn't have Cam Newton. He had somebody nobody heard of for the most part, and a former XFL quarterback, right? Dang near beat Tom Brady and a really solid defense in the Buccaneers in the early round, right?
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks to see what goes on, because here's the problem: the NFL draft is not until May. We got a long time coming. All right. I mean, the Senior Bowl was last Saturday. That's the last time we go see any type of college football, because I'm not even sure who's doing spring football at this point. And then you have like literally all this time between now and the May draft with a interesting watered down version of the combine, and then there's no actual, for the most part, as of right now, no individual workout scheduled for players with teams. So you really have to rely on your scouting department. And in a lot of cases, guys only played 6 games this year, 6, 7, 8 games. Very few teams did play a full schedule. So
you thought they were better off last year in the draft, Danny Thompson. Oh boy.
All right. Speaking of things that are better off right now, well, Kyle, before we transition to Super Bowl, last thing, the NBA and the players have agreed to having the All-Star game.
God, why?
Players and the owners have agreed to playing the NBA All-Star game in Atlanta on March 7th at, I think, State Farm Arena out in Atlanta during the middle of the NBA's, I guess, spring break. In an interview last night in postgame, De'Aaron Fox kind of took the tempo of what I wanted to say, but he basically said, "This is a dumbass idea." All right.
I think he said, honestly, I think it's a stupid idea. Something like that. Yeah, I saw the tweet earlier. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, because the thing was, they asked De'Aaron, and De'Aaron Fox is one of the more honest players. You know, he's one of the young guys in the league, and a star in the making. But he was very honest about his assessment. He asked, would he go? He was like, if he doesn't go, the fines, it's going to be a hell of a fine if he doesn't go. So of course he's going to go. Now, is he going to be selected? We're not sure, because the Kings are better than normal, but there's so many guards out west.
They're still pretty bad.
But to what he's saying is, it's the sentiment of a lot of players. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, okay? Do we really need to have the All-Star game this year?
Over and above the fact that they're inches away from having a complete disaster situation for their season, right? I mean, are we just glossing over that part or what? You know what I mean?
I mean, we got teams still missing games here, okay? Yes, The NBA had a great week with COVID. No player tested positive this week. Of all the testing this week, the NBA, great job by doing what they're doing. They're changing the mask rules. There's no hugging at the games, I guess unless they feel like it. But what I'm saying is, the protocols have gotten better. But do we really need an All-Star game? Like, are the television networks that damn desperate to find programming that these guys can't even take a week off to be with their families? Oh, by the way, Kyle, they also modified how to do their week off as well too. Guys will still have to get individual testing during their time away. Okay.
Oh, boy.
And there is no international travel. So for these guys thinking they're gonna get a whole week off in the Bahamas somewhere, fooled you. You'll be at home. Okay.
Fooled you. Yeah, right.
The guys need a week off. Okay. They're playing. I cover the Charlotte Hornets. Kyle. People know I cover the Hornets on a daily basis. Kyle, last week, when they played Milwaukee, that was 6 games in 8 days. Okay. Counting the Milwaukee game going into this week, Charlotte's played 5 games, 8 nights. So, Kyle, they played 12 games in literally 17 days. This is what the players are going through. And everybody keeps saying, oh, they're millionaires. Oh, they get paid to do this. This is not a typical NBA season, okay? They're microwaving the season pretty badly, all right? On top of the travel, these guys are literally going through daily testing. They can't be around their families. They can't do much of anything, all right? Let the guys have a damn week off. As much as I love the NBA All-Star Game, Kyle, it's not even the regular format. It's going to be East-West. So there is no schoolyard pickup this year. All right. There is no Team LeBron versus Team KD. We're not getting that this year. It's East versus West, which is not a bad thing. But we're also going to get the skills competition, which means the slam dunk competition. They're doing the slam dunk competition the same day as the All-Star Game.
Come on.
They're going full-fledged 1980s where you're dunking in the middle of halftime.
Look here. Here's what I'm saying, Danny Thompson. Yes, thank you. Perfectly done, Bobby. Here's my thing. You do this the way that you should have done the Pro Bowl. Skills competition only. Only.
How about
because
this?
Most of the fans in both cases, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, Danny. I think you're about to say the same thing. Fans in both cases are more interested in a damn skills comp than they are the stupid game itself. Am I right?
No, I was about to say, listen. You're right. They should have took a page on the NFL Pro Bowl this year. Have it virtual. Have a 2K All-Star game. All right?
There's that.
There was nothing better than watching Marshawn Lynch break his own chair after an interception. That was great on Sunday, by the way. At this point, because nothing better is watching somebody play 2K and the game glitches in the middle of it, and it causes the game to stop in the middle of it, or somebody's internet goes bad. So the NBA can show exactly what players deal with online on a regular and daily basis. Freaking amazing, by the way. All I'm saying is everybody talks about putting players at risk and players in danger. This is exactly what we are not trying to do. We're not trying to get these players in danger. Because what happens if one of these players who actually are going to Atlanta catches COVID? Guess what? Now they got to go back to their teams essentially in the middle of a playoff race, and they're going to be out.
I believe the call goes something like this in a dramatization. Hey, coach, what happened was...
Yeah, and not to mention the All-Star Game's in damn Atlanta. Of all the places to have the All-Star Game. I know that they're doing it for a great cause. How about HBCUs? I get it. They should have took damn money and donated to HBCUs. But of all the places to have the damn All-Star Game in Atlanta, did we not just watch Lou Williams end up in damn Magic City getting some damn wings? Did we just go through this? Did we just go through this?
You gave me a hard time for making jokes about chicken wings, and now you're on board, Danny Thompson.
I'm just saying, you're sending it to Atlanta? Of all places to have thank you, Steph Curry. All right. I'm sorry, Wardell. What you're saying, you're sending of all places, Atlanta. You're sending players and telling them to stay at home. Or stay where they need to be in a quarantine environment in the damn city of Atlanta. All right?
Please do not go anywhere. Please don't ever roam. And for the love of the pandemic, stay or beep at home.
Listen, pay the players their all-star salaries. I'm pretty sure they'll be happy. I think these guys, and the thing is, or you know what, worst case scenario, let the guys opt out.
Back.
So you can see how much foolishness this is. Let them opt out. This is Tom damn foolery. And I love basketball, Kyle. You know that I do. I love basketball with passion, but this has got to be the stupidest damn idea I've seen. Adam Silver wins a lot of things, but this is the most money hungry thing they possibly could have done. All right.
Yeah.
Last night, in the NBA section, yes, the Brooklyn Nets are winning with James Harden on the floor. Congratulations. All right. Last but not least, the international, yes, we know. He actually lost weight when he went to Brooklyn, by the way.
His jacket still says Rockets in that pic, Bobby. Much better.
Much better. Exactly, much better. Now we need one. Thank you, Bobby. Now, the last thing before we jump into Super Bowl talk is the fact that the IOC, United States Basketball Commission, is petitioning the IOC to extend the deadline for final rosters for the Olympics. Now, Kyle, I know you're saying, what the hell does that mean, Danny?
Oh, I know what it means.
Well,
They're
for
going
those
to
who
the
don't know.
IOC. They're concerned about COVID in their situation to submit for competing in the games coming up when those finally happen in Japan.
Well, actually, no. Here's what they're saying. Here's the difference behind it.
Okay.
The Olympics is going on during the middle of the damn NBA playoffs.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So the Olympics is scheduled for July in
snap.
Tokyo.
I didn't put that together yet.
Which is right in the middle of the second round of the NBA playoffs, right between the first and second round of the playoffs. The United States, the IOC for the United States Basketball Committee is trying to wait to the last minute because what's essentially going to happen is Team USA is going to be basically dismantled because of the players in the playoffs. The NBA is not pausing their season to send players to the Olympics. They have petitioned the IOC to move the Olympics until sometime in September. Tokyo ain't having it.
No,
right?
Of course not.
We gotta have our Olympic baseball, and we gotta have our equestrian. All right, so we gotta have our equestrian in the middle of
Did
July.
not just say we've got to have our equestrian. Are you kidding me?
Damn it, we need Olympic weightlifting. All I'm saying is, all right, I need my biathlon at this point. Okay, my biathlon is way more important than making sure that LeBron James is not playing the Olympics.
Hey, look here. I'm just glad it's not the Winter Olympics and curling is at risk. Okay, I'm glad curling is safe.
I'm just mad that we're not getting breakdancing this year. Okay, I really wanted breakdance, but we get that in 2024.
God.
All I'm saying is, in team, yeah, actually, no,
Move
listen,
on.
I'm actually listen, Kyle. I am actually psyched for 2024 because breakdancing is going to now take over my new favorite sport. Because basketball, the NBA players won't be in Paris in 24 anyway. This is the final Olympics for NBA players, which kind of sucks, but they're going to be doing the World Cup instead. Long story short, Team USA is going to be shorthanded. Unless the Lakers lose in the first round, the Clippers lose in the first round, aka the United States have 60 players on their list that they're going to be picking from for the Olympic roster. They have all the big names on the list. They have, your LeBron Jameses, your Kevin Durant, your Kyrie Irvings, Anthony Davis. The list goes, James Harden. List goes down, so on and so forth throughout the league. The problem is with being in the first and second round, these guys are unavailable. So they're going to have to basically be picking a B squad, depending on who's not in the playoffs, to go to the Olympics. If you remember the last time Team USA sent a B team over, bless you, Kyle.
Thank you, sir.
The United States didn't have a very good experience at the World Cup.
Nope.
A team full of B-list, you don't want to call them B-list guys because there were a couple NBA All-Stars, like Kemba Walker and those guys were on the All-Star team. They went over to Japan. They went over to the World Cup and got their heads kicked in. Australia's already announced their qualifying list. They have 25 players on the list, and 10 guys are in the NBA right now. That includes Ben Simmons.
They'll get Ben Simmons. That this affects other countries too.
Well, yeah, it affects other countries, but in the case of Australia, Ben Simmons will be playing because the Sixers ain't getting past the second round anyway. So Ben Simmons will be available for Australia. Okay. The only person that you might have to worry about that's not playing might be Joe Ingles. Outside of that, Matthew Dellavedova is going to be there. Patty Mills is going to be there. Ben Simmons is going to be there. All right. All the major NBA players, with the exception of, like I said, Joe Ingles, will probably be available for them. Okay. The way Dallas is playing, Luka Doncic will be available, and so will Kristaps Porzingis for their home countries. All right. The United States is going to hurt severely because you could be missing James Harden, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. There's a bunch of guys. It's not just going to affect them. It's going to affect other countries, but it will hit Team USA harder than anybody else. Because Canada, who is a favorite, the only player they'll probably be missing in this whole process could be Jamal Murray. They'll get everybody else. RJ Barrett, Andrew Wiggins, if Wiggins decides to play, they'll get all their major guns. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they'll get everybody back. Maybe not Tristan Thompson. Is Tristan Thompson Canadian? I think he is. No, is he Canadian? I can't remember at this point. I think he is Canadian. But what I'm saying is they'll have all their major guns in place. Team USA is going to be basically sending a minus B-list squad because their star players will be Bradley Beal because the Wizards are straight trash anyway. All right. There'll be no Jimmy Butler. The guys that we need won't be there. Greece is going to miss Giannis, but Greece wasn't going to win a medal anyway. Speaking of winning, let's now talk about the Super Bowl because now there's going to be one winner and one loser. In GOAT versus GOAT,
Tristan Thompson is Jamaican.
But wasn't he born in Canada though?
All right, I'll check.
Okay, I think he was born in Canada. I think he is eligible for the Canadian national squad. I think he does have his I think he does have citizenship. I want to say.
DT, before you guys start your Super Bowl preview here, real quick, are you wearing creamsicle Tampa Bay because you're picking for the Buccaneers?
Now look at him trying to throw the spoilers out already. Damn, Bobby.
No, because this is more honey mustard.
It's creamsicle.
He's trying to touch on more of that Tennessee orange to account for Danny White's departure from UCF. That's what that is.
Actually, this is more like this is more LA Laker than anything else. If I want to look at color schemes over here, this is more of a Lakers type color. It's not bright yellow. It's kind of a little bit darker yellow.
Listen, it's less than 10 minutes in the damn show, and we haven't said a word about the Super Bowl.
The good thing about being on this network is the fact that we can go past the time. So let's continue. All right. So in tonight's big game preview, it's like here's the big storyline, Kyle. I think everybody knows the storyline. It's the KC Wolf or the thing that's a humongous buffed out pirate is going to win a Super Bowl on Sunday, otherwise known as Battle of GOAT versus Baby GOAT. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes,
alleged GOAT versus possible GOAT.
No, sorry, sir. It's GOAT versus Baby GOAT. Okay,
you're still wrong, but that's okay. That's a different.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. You have arguably the best head coach in the NFL in Andy Reid. I think he might be the best coach in the NFL with an outstanding staff against Bruce Arians. I think the most complete staff in the NFL. I think the most complete staff, position by position coach. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, have the most complete staff, top to bottom in the league.
I'll say this, coaching wise, as far as competitiveness, like when we've seen a lot of coaching matchups, Belichick blows the other guy out of the water when he's there, typically speaking. Sure, he hasn't won every single game where he's the better coach, but this coaching wise is one of the more even matchups we've seen in a while in the Super Bowl. Arians is a guy who had the Cardinals pushing the envelope in the NFC with Carson Palmer as your quarterback, okay? And Andy Reid's awesomeness already speaks for itself. So there you go.
And besides, we talk about Brady and Mahomes, there's so many other matchups and so many detailing stories.
Technically speaking, Mahomes and Brady isn't a matchup. They don't play each other.
I mean, but you know what, though? That's the thing everybody's watching. Who's going to be better than who's going to make all the plays. So, Kyle, we're going to flip a coin. I'm going to have you pick a side, and I'll take the other one. Which side do you want to take it from the perspective of? You want to take it from the Kansas City's perspective, or you want to take it from the Tampa perspective? I'll give you the ball. Which one do you want?
Oh, no, I'll do the Bucks perspective because I'm the insider, allegedly. Not really, but I'll take the Bucks perspective.
All right, I'll take Kansas City. So, Kyle, as you look at this, on offense, who is the key player in your eyes on Sunday? And the thing is, here's the thing. We can't use the quarterbacks as key players. Outside of Brady, who is the most important player on the offensive side of the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs?
I don't think it's a single player. I think it is a single player group. The play of the Buccaneers offensive line is going to determine this game. But Kyle, the play of the offensive line determines every game. You're absolutely right. Here's what I'm talking about, though, Danny Thompson. Perhaps you remember a certain pair of Super Bowls, one in 2007 and one in 2011, where Thomas Edward Brady lost to the New York Giants. In one of those games, they had won 17 straight games and had one giant loss. See what I did there? And all of that came not because they didn't have the better roster necessarily, not because Brady is a worse quarterback than Eli Manning, and not because of any of the other stuff that people would have you believe. It's very simple. That night, both those nights, an elite, awesome Giants defensive front took care of damn business. If the offensive line can't slow the Chiefs up front with their attack, there's no point even talking about this, because at some point, Mahomes is going to get his points. That offense has to do the same.
So for me on Sunday, the most important player in the offense for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think the guy that can arguably change this game open, they have weapons everywhere. You got Mahomes, you got Travis Kelce, you have Tyreek Hill, Clyde Evans-Helaire. But the guy I really want to watch on Sunday, the guy that can make multiple plays happen, is McCole Hardiman, wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll tell you why it's McCole Hardiman. In an offense that has so many similarities to, I would say, the greatest show on turf, which was the St. Louis Rams with Kurt Warner at quarterback.
Isaac Bruce.
With so many weapons.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you have so many weapons in offense. There's always a guy that can always stretch the game open. McCole Hardiman has stepped into that third wide receiver role.
Okay.
All right. And when I say third wide receiver roles.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, because it's the Bucks. Go ahead.
Ronald Jones is useless if there's no holes. By the way, I actually personally think you're going to have an opportunity to see Leonard Fournette having a lot more big play as well. Ronald, I think I can't mention just one running back because they're going to do it as a core in that case. I'm not saying that you're bad to make that choice, Marty. Where I'm going is I couldn't necessarily pick a running back because I think they're going to do it committee style. But you're right. If he gets more than one big play, Marty, 100%, he's going to be in line for the MVP trophy should the Bucks win. Go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
No problem. McCole Hardiman does a lot of things differently. He's always a guy that plays special teams. He's a return specialist. But he's now slotted in the third spot at receiver. No, he's not the Ricky Prohl of this team. He's more like Oz Hakeem. Okay? He's that guy in the slot that makes plays. Okay? He's a big play waiting to happen. He has speed, like I said, to Marty's point. He goes one-on-one, and he can take advantage. The Buccaneers don't have three really good corners to do this. Antoine Winfield Jr. And company, they only can guard. They got to keep an eye on Tyreek Hill, and someone's got to watch up the middle for Kelce because they're going to kill him otherwise. Sammy Watkins has had a calf injury throughout the playoffs and still has not 100%. I think he's going to go
practice.
But
he was limited in practice today. He's going to play. I'm just saying he's limited in practice on Wednesday.
When you look at what McCole Hardiman's done in games where he has actually been featured, Kyle, and when I say games that he's been featured, if you look at the times he's had 35 or more snaps, he's made a big play in games. Go back to the Jets game, you have almost 100 yards receiving in that game. He goes over the top, and when he gets in space, he can make plays. In a game like this, every team needs plays. In that game against Tampa the last time, he did catch 3 passes with only 23 yards, but he makes impacts in other ways. I think Kansas City is going to have to use him on the outside. He's going to have to break a play over the top, and he's the one guy that can do something. Also, this game, special teams is going to be important. Field position is the most important thing in this game. You got to have field position. If he can give Patrick LeVon Mahomes II short field position all day long, Mahomes is going to pick apart the Bucs defense. The Bucs need as many yards as possible to keep them away from that end zone. The shorter the field, the more dangerous Mahomes is. I think Hardiman will get a play or two down the field. They're going to find some kind of way, whether it be reverse, where it's going to be something to get his balls in his hands. He could be as dangerous in this game as Tyreek Hill because here's the other thing. The last time Tyreek Hill played that Bucs secondary, they still have nightmares from the first quarter where Tyreek Hill broke almost damn near every record the Chiefs franchise in one quarter. They're going to be so focused on him. And if Watkins is 85% healthy, Hardiman's going to have nothing but one-on-one coverage, potentially against third-string corners or even safeties. I'll take my chances, and that's the guy offense that makes. I think it goes on Sunday.
The only reason why I'm not resisting your choice outright is I think there's 2 very important things you're forgetting: Danny Kilgore and Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher are both missing. That's your starting left tackle and your starting center. One for injury, one for center protocol. At the end of the day, having an option down the field is fantastic, but if the quarterback's on the run, it doesn't matter. That being said, it's Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. We've seen him throw crossfield and do some sort of magic. You can't rule it out. I'll give you that much credit, Danny Thompson.
I couldn't use quarterback in this situation. I can't use quarterback as X factor.
No. It's not quarterback. That's the thing here. What I'm saying is, I'm not. If it were me, I'm picking Kelce as the big factor because as a check down and as a blocking help and also a downfield piece, he could be the Super Bowl MVP. He may not get the votes because the numbers don't match, but he has the opportunity to make the biggest impact of the game as a blocker, as a check down receiver, and as a downfield threat, a true triple threat on that offense. And hell, if they run a tight end screen, he'll be part of the run game as well. McCole Hardman's nice. If you get a big play, that's adorable, but that's got to get set up first. I can't sign off on that.
Hey, that first quarter last time, Rob, was plenty of setup for me. Marty in the chat saying Hardman 29 is the over-under on yards. I'm going over on Sunday. I think he gets closer to 65-70 on about 4 or 5 catches. I guess this game's going to be a shootout anyway, but I think that's the guy that's going to make – I think he's not going to win Super Bowl MVP, but he has a chance to make a play, like you said, Kyle, to break the game open, to also get the ball in trap.
He just needs 2 catches for that. That's nothing.
I mean, it could be. All right, Kyle, let's go on the defensive side of the ball. And I'll lead this time. So the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not known for their defense, okay? And you mentioned before, the Bucs offensive line is the key to this game for them. They have to, because Tom Brady has been hit. He's been hit again, and he's been hit a lot. And this game, he's going to get pressure. There's no way the Chiefs do not pressure him. But the one guy, to me, Kyle, that's got to make an impact in this game and that can flip things left and right is free safety Daniel Sorensen. Everybody knows how good Tyrann Mathieu been all year. He's a Pro Bowl. He's an All-Pro. Matthew's the captain of the defense. We get this. Yeah. All right? But Daniel Sorensen led the team in tackles this year.
He's a great player.
He's a guy that's going to be in the box. He's going to be, like you said, as important as Ronald Jones is and Leonard Fournette is, the one guy that can stop. No, I'm telling you, because you got to make sure that Brady's not throwing 60 times either in this game. Because if Brady is throwing 60 times, that means you're playing right in the hands of Kansas City. The most important thing is running the football. If you stop on first and maybe even second downs and force Brady to throw on third downs and make him have passing situations, it's going to be in your advantage for Kansas City. How do you make that happen? When they run on first down, you're going to see Daniel Sorensen in that box all day long. He's going to be blitzing. He's going to be watching Ronald Jones. He's also probably going to have the chance to probably guard Gronk and even Cameron Brate when they have to go in double tight end sets. Remember, for as good of a tackler he's been this year, Kyle, he has 91 tackles this year. He also had 3 interceptions on defense this year, including a pick 6. He also led the team in forced fumbles, Kyle, with 2. And he also had 4 quarterback hurries this year and also gets in the backfield. This guy does a lot of different things, and he just really is kind of underwhelmingly rated. Like I say, because Tyrann Mathieu's been phenomenal. You can't take that away. Chris Jones, we all know what Chris Jones can do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Chris Jones, and then then you have Frank Clark, who's waiting to have a big game. So yes. I'm picking somebody that's completely not on the radar in this game. Sorensen, if he gets in that box, Kyle, and if he holds Ronald Jones and those guys to 3 yards to carry on first down, and makes it 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, and those longer second downs, that makes Bruce Arians have to get out of trying to control the clock a bit, because you don't want to play fast break with the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorensen can make that change. I think Sorensen's the guy on defense that's the X factor, because if he stops that running game, it's only going to make Brady have to throw. And Kyle, Frank Clark is waiting to have a huge game. He's waiting. He's been in the wings waiting for one all year. Chris Jones, they're waiting to blitz. They're waiting to make a play. And then guess what that also does? It allows Tyrann Mathieu to go on the safety blitzes as well, too. It frees it up. I think Sorensen's my guy. Kyle, on defense for the Bucs, who is your X factor on defense?
Sorensen's a great pick by you, by the way. I don't think you'll see much blitzing from Chris Jones, at least in the early part of the game, because someone's got to stay home and take care of that run. But for me, on the Bucs defense, I got JPP. Sure, Devin White and company, they're going to be the big names. They're the ones that'll be flying around and hoping and to chase down Patrick Mahomes II. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's JPP's ability to control things up front, to make sure that there are holes for linebackers and others to zip through when they're attacking Patrick Mahomes in the backfield. And keep in mind this, Danny Thompson, the best way to beat Mahomes numbers-wise when you look at past stats isn't the conventional wisdom we've been offering of balanced offense, keeping the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and all that. No, it's been getting into the shootout with him and waiting for him to make that one single mistake, or somebody out there to make one single mistake. I mention that because that one single mistake kept the Chiefs from playing in their third straight Super Bowl, where Thomas Edward Brady beat them after throwing the losing interception as still a Patriot. But the punchline is this, my good friend. Patrick Mahomes doesn't make many mistakes for the most part unless he's on the run. Him getting sacked is nice. It's a win for the defense, no doubt. All that does is get you closer to that 3rd and long, though, where he's so miraculous. The game where he lost to the Raiders, for example, was a shootout where he made one key mistake. Threw an interception. It happens. He did it while throwing on the run. JPP's job is going to be to shut down that side of the line to make sure that the pocket collapses. So Mahomes has to pick a side. If all that happens and Mahomes is on the run trying to make a throw, there's a chance a mistake is made. That's all you can really hope for when you're battling against the Kansas City Chiefs. But the key to that is going to make sure to get Patrick Mahomes in that uncomfortable space. They're going to try to run the ball some. I don't know how much success that's going to have. I feel like Devin White and company is going to take care of that when it happens. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about keeping Mahomes on the run, making sure he's not standing in the pocket for any bit too long. Because goodness gracious, if this much speed has any semblance of time to get into a place where they're secure, it's going to be problematic, and it's going to be problematic quickly. And the other thing I say to this is, Danny Thompson, Tampa Bay's defense, if they hope to win this game, isn't going to have to stop Mahomes every time. They just have to do it enough to where they have fewer points than their offense, simply put.
All right, Kyle. So we're gonna put the hat on this one. We're gonna put the Bruce Arians hat on you. All right. If you are Bruce Arians. Yeah, we're going to give you the Bruce Arians hat and the shirts to be wearing. If you are Bruce Arians, what's the one major key on offense that you have to do to beat the Chiefs on Sunday? If you're Bruce Arians, what do you need to do on offense?
I got to find a way to make a big play, and I got to make sure they don't see it coming, which means I'm doing a lot of stuff where I'm lining up my top receivers and Gronk all on the same side and making them hope and guess and pick, and then just completely throwing them off. I want to put out a set where they're thinking pass, and then psych, here comes Fournette or Jones, right? I want to make sure that this defense is on its heels at all times, and that Thomas Edward Brady is doing what he does best, outsmarting this defense on the regular. But see, here's the thing. In this particular environment, Thomas Edward Brady is not challenging a coaching staff that's usually this good, that has the capability to put out a game plan that would challenge his Bobby Fischer-esque chess mind, okay? What I'm trying to say is this, Danny Thompson. I'm making sure that Brady has more than one way to approach every situation that he's looking at. There's a 1 and there's a 2. Obviously, that's what most NFL teams do. But I'm using a lot of motion. I'm doing a lot of things to make sure that Kansas City defense is spread out and uncomfortable. And for me, the key to that is going to be to utilize Gronk more in the excuse me, in situations where he's the 3rd or 4th option. But if you do find him, he's going to have space to knock people the hell over and get that big gain.
If I'm Andy Reid and I'm talking to Eric Bieniemy, here's what my key for this game is. We all know how good Patrick Mahomes is when it comes to making plays, but at the same time, you don't want to have Patrick Mahomes make all the plays.
Yeah.
To me, establish the most important part of the game. And you mentioned Kansas City's missing not just one, but both of your tackles. In the NFL, it's the hardest thing to do. Yeah, you're missing the entire left side because all you have left is a guard. When you have JPP, you have Shaq Barrett. A lot of times you're probably going to see Todd Bowles probably put both of them on the same side of the defense to try to cause pressure, especially when you're missing on the left side of the field. What I would suggest if I was Andy Reid talking to Eric Bieniemy, I'm pretty sure just like you mentioned, Bruce Arians talking to Byron Leftwich, is that we need to establish the run early. Meaning Clyde Edwards-Helaire Damian Williams, Le'Veon Bell even. We're going to have to get 5 yards on first down. 4 to 5 yards on first down almost every single series, on every single set of downs. Why? Because when you start running the ball, and Kyle, you know this, and Todd Bowles does this a lot, he likes to blitz. He likes to send pressure.
Mhm.
If you're running the football and you try to send pressure, what does that do? That sets up play action. And
It
play
does.
action in most cases leads to somebody flying down the field. You got a quarterback that can throw the ball 80 yards and a receiver that can go get it in 80 yards. If they can get 4 or 5 yards on first down every single down and makes it second and short, or even get it third and short, Kyle, play action's coming. Or if you run the ball effective enough on first down, you expect run, and they're going to go over the top. The Bucs don't have the speed at corner to deal with Tyreek Hill. Even Sammy Watkins at 90%, you don't have anybody who can keep up with him at foot speed. Mahomes can throw. This is not Thomas Edward Brady's arm we're dealing with here.
No.
You're dealing with probably arguably the strongest arm in the NFL that's not named Josh Allen. The only difference between Allen and Mahomes is that Mahomes can put it anywhere. Okay, Allen might be a little bit inaccurate at times,
Let's not leave Aaron Charles Rodgers out of that conversation.
but not when it comes to arm strength. Nobody's got more arm strength than either Allen.
A different episode, my friend. A different episode.
Listen, I've seen Patrick Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill in stride 70 yards down the field. Okay,
And let the record show, Alex has my back on Fournette producing. By the way, keep going.
he's a Bucs guy.
And he would know it's going to be Fournette over Jones. Just saying.
By the way, real quick, I've also
Bobby?
called Leonard Fournette as my dark horse for MVP. Leonard Fournette for this game.
Wow.
All right.
I
So
got your
that's my. We'll get to predictions in just a minute because we're gonna give our predictions in just a few minutes. I think running the ball is the most important thing. Running the ball is going to make things easier for Mahomes if it's not going to be any more easier. Also, Kyle, when you run the ball, guess what happens? Travis Kelce's even more dangerous.
That's what I'm saying.
He becomes even more dangerous on second and 5, 3rd and 1.
Uh-huh.
And all Mahomes has got to do is throw over the top because the Bucs are going to have to use and use Devin White as as not spying on him because he can keep up with Kelce foot speed wise. You're going to have him play run defense. You're going to have Levante David play run defense. It's going to leave Antoine Winfield, as good as he is as a rookie. He's a rookie. Travis Kelce is arguably 1A to George Kittle's 1B as the best tight end in football. Depends on who you ask, and depends on what type of tight end you like. It is what it is. Kelce can have a monster game, but it's going to be Hilaire in that running game that's going to be the key. Let's switch sides things. Now let's talk about if we were the defensive coordinators. So if I'm Steve Spagnuolo, if I'm Andy Reid talking to Steve Spagnuolo, here's how I stop Tom Brady, and here's how I stop the offense for the Bucs, and here's my game plan. You've got to disguise coverages. I know Tom Brady has been playing since Methuselah's playing, so switching coverages on Tom Brady and for him not recognizing it's going to be pretty damn difficult. Okay, it is what it is. I don't know if it's something Tom Brady has never seen before. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the smarter defensive head coaches in the NFL, so finding ways to get Tyrann Mathieu in spaces and areas is going to be key. One thing Tampa has that is different than what Kansas City has is they have just as many quality wide receivers as Kansas City, but their receivers do different things. Nobody on Kansas City's receiving core is as physical as Mike Evans is. All right? None of them are. But also no one on Kansas City's team not named Travis Kelce can run routes like Chris Godwin. Okay? So what you have to do in those situations is make sure that your corners don't get stuck in bad situations. So what does that mean? That means Tyrann Mathieu has to be all over the place. He led the team in interceptions with 6. He's also one of the best tacklers. You've got to move him all over the field and make sure that he keeps his eye on Brady the entire game. You've got to make sure he looks off to you. You have to be able to have Tyrann Mathieu outsmart arguably the greatest quarterback, the greatest player in the history of the NFL. Mathieu has to be the guy, and if anybody can do it, it's the Honey Badger. So if I'm Steve Spagnuolo, I'm not keeping Tyrann Mathieu in the same location. I'm moving him around. I'm having him rover. I'm having him play cover 2. I'm having him blitz. I'm having him guard Gronk. He's going to be all over the field because eventually the Honey Badger makes plays. He's going to make a play somewhere in this game. You just got to make sure he makes the right play because one thing Tampa does have, those receivers have the dropsies. Mike Evans does drop passes. All right, Chris Godwin's not perfect, and Rob Gronkowski's not the same Gronk that was in New England. You're really relying on guys like Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, Cameron Brate to also chip in. If Matthew is making plays all over the field and Daniel Sorensen stopping, I'm making sure my safeties move up and move everywhere. I'm making Brady beat me. Green Bay should have won that game last week because guess what? Green Bay had momentum. They had Brady on the ropes in the second half. Brady played great in the first, played really good in the first half, was really bad in the second half. That's all you have to do.
The thing I'll add, Danny, is you make a great point about disguising coverages and all that. You're not going to hide anything from Brady. When you're in a coverage, he's going to know its limitations of what can it do and all that. What you actually have to do to disguise what you're playing is show one thing, move around again, and don't lock into what you're doing until just before the snap. And it's going to be a dance of where Matthew places himself on the field, where Sorensen plays himself on the field. Everybody's going to show one thing, do another, and then maybe even the third position they end up is the actual defense they're playing. You basically need to choreograph and show different things at all times and constant motion before the snap. That's how you beat Thomas Edward Brady.
And the one guy that can do it, and I think has the IQ, football smarts IQ, is Tyrann Mathieu. Sure. That's the type of safety that can be one of them.
Absolutely.
I think he's one of maybe 3 guys in this league at the safety position that can do that you can trust to be able to adjust, use a self-audible, control the defense, and also make plays. I think between him and Jamal Adams at the safety position, I think they're the 2 best in the league when it comes to that. All right, Kyle, you're now Todd Bowles, and you're Bruce Arians talking to Todd Bowles. How do you stop the Kansas City Chiefs? Balls in your court, sir.
You keep Patrick Mahomes on the run as best as you can. They're going to try to hand it off some and basically just let your Pro Bowl guys up front stop the run when it happens. I mean, it's almost as if to say, worry less about the run. If they move the ball and they get into the red zone where there's a shorter space, that's fine. Stopping Mahomes for only 3 points is still a victory at the end of the day, right? The big thing to do is make sure at all times that Patrick Mahomes is on the move and that he is not throwing a ball flat-footed in any way, shape, form, or fashion. For me, that's the key to victory. I can go on and on with other factors and other particulars, and the way you do that, I mean, listen, what you do for Brady, you got to do for Mahomes too. It's true for any quarterback. You want to trick them, you want to fool them, all that happy stuff. But for my money, the key up front is to pick on Tristan Wirfs, make him lunge and overplay. Or not Tristan Wirfs, I got the wrong side. Make whoever's backing up Fisher get tested in the blitz. Send some stuff up the middle. Devin White versus a backup center. I want to see what happens in that matchup. If I get in there and I blow it up early, that's an opportunity to put Mahomes in hot water and realize damn well I don't care if he's down 30. I saw it last year. Patrick Mahomes was losing the first 3.5 quarters. Okay, play the full 60 minutes. Those are your keys.
And you know what talk about Kyle, you said a backup center. Another name that can have a huge impact on this game on Sunday is another guy that's actually a defensive tackle. That's Ndamukong Suh.
Indeed.
Because Ndamukong Suh has played defensive tackle. And I can see Todd Bowles, Kyle, on Sunday putting Suh with JPP and Shaq Barrett on that going after Eric Fisher's replacement. And literally a backup center at left side of the line. You send all 3 of them. Like you said, Devin White coming. That means running back. That means Hilaire, Bell, Williams, Christian Okoye, Barry Ward. You can go back, Jamal Charles. Somebody's going to have to block the blitzer. Because otherwise, like you said, Mahomes could get hit and he get hit hard.
Well, I mean, isn't that a hell of a choice? Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh or Devin White? Ah!
Yeah, like I said, you have Shaq Barrett as well, too, coming on the outside. Right. You're right. I like that point. All right, Kyle, let's talk Super Bowl predictions, and we'll bring Bobby and also give predictions. All right, Kyle, in your expert opinion, because you are the student of the game, class is in session, sir. Break down the Super Bowl on both sides and what you expect to see on Sunday in 90 seconds. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, there's going to be a shootout in the second half, no question about it. I think coming out in the first half, both teams will be feeling each other out. You may not even see a touchdown in the first quarter. Watch me be completely wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened too, but that's what I'm expecting. At the end of the day, my good friend, here's what I know. Tom Brady has some sort of deal with the devil, and he's doing everything he can to do anything he can to continue defying age and winning football games. And you know what else happened? Danny Kilgore failed his COVID test. And the left tackle's out for the Kansas City Chiefs to give his defense a hell of a setup and keep the points down. At the end of the day, the thing that made me pick against Brady in both those Giant Super Bowls is the thing that makes me pick for the Bucs and Tom Brady. The defensive line disparity, or rather advantage, over the offensive line. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What's the score?
I'm going to go with I'm going to say 20. No, I'm going to say 33-27.
And who's your MVP?
Now that part I can't come with. That's tougher. At the end of the day, I think the ball will be spread around a lot in a good, wise, intelligent plan, and by default, to give it to Brady because he's 100 billion years old and the quarterback.
Bobby, what you got, my friend?
A new hat on.
And what? The Toronto Raptors?
Yeah.
They're not playing on Sunday.
Not sure.
Okay, so does that mean I got a feeling where you're going with this, but go ahead, Bobby.
I've always grown up on the principle that a great defense and a great or a more than adequate running game wins championships. And both of those are on the side of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Can you stop with this Tampa trash, by the way?
Let the man talk, Kyle. Let the man talk. Go ahead, Bobby. He's got a Raptors hat on.
Have a great defense. KC has a decent running game if Hilaire is okay. I think it's going to be a wet field out there. I'm predicting that Patrick Mahomes. Again, I'm a Mahomes fan. I don't dislike the guy at all. I think he's great for the NFL.
Oh, of course.
I think he gets knocked out of this game at least once. I think he has a toe injury that has kind of been hidden and hush-hushed. And I think, he's going to be, like you said before, he's going to be chased by Sue, Barrett, White, and those guys. I see more of a – now I'm going to go with my one Pullman so far. I see a 26-20 victory for Tampa Bay.
Who's your MVP?
Like I said, I think it's either Fournette or Mike Evans.
All right.
A receiver. Interesting.
All right. So here's my prediction of the Super Bowl. And Kyle, you said it's going to be more like a boxing match. Everybody's going to be sparring in the first quarter. And it's going to be a kind of a dance in the first quarter. I don't think that way from the very beginning.
You plenty of reason not to.
If one thing the Kansas City Chiefs can do better than anybody else, is they can score points when they feel like it. They do it on a regular basis. We go back to the matchup they had back in week 12. They came out and lit up Tampa in the first quarter because Tyreek Hill was getting past secondary members the whole game, the whole quarter. It set Kansas City records. This game means everything. We all know this is Tom Brady's quintessential love fest to end everything. This is arguably the most talented offense Brady has had in arguably 15 years. And this might be even more talented than the team that lost the New York Giants in the Super Bowl because of the undefeated team. And why I say it's more talented is because Brady's never had weapons like this. We've said this, and every person has said this for years. Even without O.J. Howard, this is arguably the deepest and the best talented team that Brady has had. The only difference is Tom Brady is not the same quarterback he was 10 years ago. The arm strength isn't there as used to. We've watched Tom Brady throw from different angles all year. The ball doesn't go as deep as it is. And what do I mean by this? Kansas City has the quarterback that can do all of these things. They have the offense that does all these things. Tampa can score. But what's going to happen is, in a lot of cases, this is what always happens with the Kansas City Chiefs, and this happens almost every single game, even the games they lose. It's all about stopping the Kansas City Chiefs when they go on a scoring run. There's going to be a stretch of possessions where the Chiefs will continue to score on Tampa. It's just what happens in week 12. It happened in the first quarter. Kansas City will score 20, 17, 21 points in a row, and it'll be a 5-minute period. The only difference between week 12 and Sunday is Kansas City's going to do it in the second half. Why? The Buccaneers are going to be so focused on watching Brady in the first half. I mean, watching Mahomes in the first half, they're going to start running the football. Kansas City's going to go over the top. And what happens is Tampa's going to have to start throwing the football. It's going to be close early. I'd say it might be even 14-10 at halftime. Kansas City's going to score, I think, in the first possession of the game. Third, I think midway through the third quarter, going into the fourth, the Chiefs go full Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry and start launching points left and right. Brady's going to make it interesting at the end. Mahomes and company will hold on in the Super Bowl. I have it 35-27. Kansas City will repeat as champions. Andy Reid goes back-to-back. It's going to be a scoring fest. I think Brady and Mahomes will both throw for 350 plus in this game. Mahomes is going to do it because they're going to do it. Brady's going to get a lot of it because they're playing from behind. I like Kansas City in this one. Nothing against Tampa. I'm not saying this for no other reason. I just think that Kansas City, even with the missing offensive line, you're missing 2 stars on offensive line. That's been a great point by Kyle most of the night. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are going to make adjustments. You're going to see Travis Kelce chipping a lot on that left side because, like you said, you need as many blockers as possible. Watch them use a lot more of Anthony Sherman in 2 back sets to protect Mahomes. Watch him use him in motion. Watch Kelce stay in motion. Like I say, anytime you can chip JPP or Barrett coming off the end, that's the thing. Tampa, as much as good as Devin White is, Travis Kelce is a monster at tight end. It's a hard guard. It's a hard guard. No matter how much you guard can practice, Gronk ain't Kelce. Kelce might be the most unguardable tight end in football other than Kittle. And the only difference between Kelce and Kittle is that Kittle runs like a wide receiver. It is what it is. But Kelce is a guy that gets in every single space. Hill goes over the top. Hardeman makes a play. Watkins makes a play. Chiefs by 8 in the Super Bowl. And the MVP, I wanted to give it to Patrick Mahomes, but I think Kyle is right in this game. Travis Kelce catches 3 touchdowns on Sunday. Because what's going to happen is when they get in the red zone, Tyreek Hill's not the biggest wide receiver, so you can't go over the top with him in the red zone. You're going to have to get him in slants. You're going to have to get him in open space. Travis Kelce against a linebacker in short spaces is dangerous. They run that tight end screen very well, and Travis Kelce knows how to get in soft spots. He's smart enough to get in spots, and guess what? Mahomes has that ability to be – he can make extra seconds. Extra seconds gives Travis Kelce get spaces. Kelce catches 2 to 3 touchdowns on Sunday. He's the guy I think is the MVP because I don't want to take Mahomes as MVP in this game because that's too easy. It's too easy. Like you said, the same thing with Brady. If Brady wins this game, it's going to be spread out, so Brady's going to win the MVP. So it's kind of easy to take Tom Brady.
But you think like week 6, all the action went to Tyreek Hill. You think this time it's going to be the same. It's just going to go to Kelce instead. I got you.
I think Kelce does all the damage in between from the 25-yard line in. He'll make catches down the field, but I think inside the 25, the 20-25, in that out red zone to outskirts of red zone, Kelce's too much for Tampa. Devin White, as good as he is, he's better in the run than he is against the pass. He's better in the run. That means Winfield is going to have to guard Travis Kelce. Welcome to the NFL, sir. You had a good rookie season. But this, sir, is your final exam. And Kyle, class is in session. Kelce's going to take it to school. So I got Kansas City in the Super Bowl 35-27. Guys, before we go, shout outs.
First, go ahead.
I'll let Bobby go.
2 quick comments about the game. One fun, one serious. Fun. How many times will the censors have to bleep out lyrics for The Weeknd during the halftime show? The guy's songs are 90% about sex. I mean, he's not the most family-friendly halftime show you've had.
I like over under.
I love his music.
I say under 1 because everything's on a 7-second delay any damn way. So they're already going to catch them anyway. So I'll take the under on 1.
And 2, and in all seriousness, I think what I've heard a little bit, and I kind of agree with, if KC wins this game, I totally could see Andy Reid retiring and Bieniemy takes over. That's why he hasn't left yet.
Ooh, that's a great conspiracy theory. I like it.
I love the concession play. I love the concession. But Bobby, any shots before we go though?
No, I think, hey, we'll talk later, obviously, but I think, hey, we're growing, man. Like I said, and thank everybody for tuning in, all the shows, all the different programming we have. And of course, you two are one of the anchors. So thank you.
All right, Kyle, 8 shots. Where we go, my friend?
First of all, to all you people out there that want to try to tell me that this is a Super Bowl you haven't cared about, or the ones you cared about the least in a long time, what in the entire hell is wrong with you? And second, on a serious note, for the love of God, could we please put I'm sorry, I'm struggling with this. Can we please put Chad Wheeler's sorry butt in jail now? Thank you. Danny Thompson.
I think he was arrested.
He pled not guilty.
All right, so all right.
There's your answer.
Jail now, Chad Wheeler. Make it happen.
Absolutely.
Danny Thompson.
All right. First and foremost, thank you for everybody stopping in the chat tonight as usual. Marty joined the I-95 family. Check out his podcast called Intercept Your Lunch, coming soon to the I-95 network. Like I said, that was Marty's way of joining the show. Thank you for chiming in. Alex Fleming, of course, is the Florida Sun. Check them out over at Fantasy Flavors because they've been covering the Super Bowl all week with mad coverage. Also, big shout outs to our good friend. I guess if we're Bert and Ernie, then Rodney is Oscar the Grouch. Big shout out to Oscar the Grouch. At home right now. Rodney, get better, my friend.
Yes,
Rodney's been battling, dealing with COVID situation, a COVID scenario, and and our thoughts and prayers are out to him, his lovely wife Candace. Make sure he's okay. It's more than just sports, Rodney's a great guy, regardless of his trolling, and in fact, he's a Kitty fan. But no, we want him to get better. Just rest up, buddy. This is not, and COVID's not easy, but we need you to rest up because, like I said, it's more than just being on air with us, on air for Under Construction. We want you to be completely healthy. So prayers out to him. Also, Precious for stopping by the chat as always, supporting and loving on the show as well too. And for me, last week was difficult for me. I didn't say on the show last week, but one of my favorite people in the NBA, Sekou Smith, passed away last week due to COVID. And I didn't make a big Facebook post about it. I didn't really say much about it because I tried to get the words together. And Sekou and I have had a couple of interactions over the years, covering things. And when I started my podcast, Full Court Press Radio, on going back to Blog Talk Radio, when I first decided to do this many moons ago, Sekou was one of the first people to reach out to me because this is before I started covering games regularly. This is before I started getting credentials. He reached out to me, and I reached out to him on a simple DM, and he responded. I think I sent like 50 DMs to different writers across the country, different organizations, different media outlets, and he was probably one of the first or maybe the second person to respond. And without any hesitation, he jumped on somebody's podcast who is a basketball fan and was just want to talk basketball. And he stayed on the podcast for a very, very long time. And he gave me his number and said, if you ever need something, reach out to me. And over the years, like I said, we've exchanged a few text messages here and there. I've seen him at a game or two here and there. Didn't have as many interactions with him as I really, really wanted to. But in the interactions I've ever had with him, he's always been welcoming. He's always been an ear. You go talking back and forth with him, but he always was a true representation of how giving back was always important. In this industry, especially being an African-American man in this industry, being an African-American in general, we don't get very many opportunities in a lot of cases. A lot of people in some cases will still keep us in a different type of bubble. And he always said that giving back was the most important thing. It wasn't about where he was. It's about helping the next person. And that's something I saw. He did that for me. And I always enjoyed giving back to others and helping others, whether it be on podcasts, whether it be giving advice or those things. And I got that from Sekou. Like I said, he didn't have to respond. He didn't have to jump on my podcast. He didn't have to give me advice. He didn't have to give me his cell phone number and just say, text me, whenever you want me on the show. I should have had him on the show more often. It's one of those moments where it's hard to put into words. And even if you have small interactions, it means everything. He's one of the 5 people I've ever come across that even with small interactions that have made me look at things differently as a journalist, as a basketball person, as well as a person of African American in this industry, and he's definitely going to be missed. I mean, if you look at the laundry list of people that have written things about him, his colleagues, his friends, people in this industry, journalists, people across the NBA, he was superly well respected, well loved, and he's going to be extremely missed. And it took me a while to put the words together. Very few people really don't know what that means, and for him to have his death, I think it was the same day as Kobe Bryant's. It's a lot because two people that, in different ways, shaped myself as a journalist, and Kobe Bryant was one of them too. And it wasn't because I knew Kobe. I have relationships personally, but Kobe's not one of the guys I've had. Like I said, I think I spoke about it many of times before, but it hit me differently, when Sekou passed. So my heartfelt condolences go out to Sekou's family. He's a family guy, and when you see him posting, he posted so much about his kids. If you just saw his social media, he posted about his kids and his love for his family and everything. He's a representation. If I can be half of who he is, I'd be proud of myself as a journalist. So I had to say that. And it's not easy, but like I said, it hit others harder than me because, like I said, I've had my share of interactions, but his impact in those small interactions have been way, way more. So outside of that, big shout outs, like I said, to Bobby, Kyle, everybody on the show.
Hey, Dan,
as we transition,
Dan, really quick, any word? I don't know if you mentioned this in your last show because I know you missed Monday. Any words about John Chaney?
Yeah, Temple head coach John Chaney passed away last week as well too. The originator of the matchup zone, like this guy's matchup zone, was something special. He was more than just a head coach. He was an icon in the city of Philadelphia. I mean, he brought Temple to the map. He put Temple on the map, and I mean, he's more than just his time with John Calipari. It's way more than that. John Chaney was one of the smartest men in the country as far as basketball wise, and a great human being. I did not have any interactions with him, but I've heard the stories. My good friend Mark Johnson always had great stories to tell about John growing up in Philadelphia and the interactions he's had with him. And ask anybody from the city of Philadelphia, this man's an icon for a reason. So rest in peace to John Chaney as well too this week. So, this is a Super Bowl edition of the show, and the good news is that, well, the bad news is football season's over. Yeah, we know. It's kind of sad. So what does that mean for Beyond the Buzzer? With football season kind of taking a back road, and Kyle and I know what the NFL draft is not until May, we're going to scale the show back. And I think this is something because, NFL is something that's huge. It's something that you got to talk multiple days a week because of college football and the NBA. I mean, and the NFL. So what we're going to do is for the next couple of weeks, we're going to go back to Thursday nights like we had in the past. We'll do a special Monday show when we have things go on, breaking news, something that might have happened over the weekend. Kyle and I will probably do a 30-minute show throughout on Mondays. But there's more to come with what Kyle and I are doing. Bobby's doing with I-95. Don't worry, we're not going nowhere. We're still a part. This is still our home. This is still our flagship station, which is I-95, Zingo Television. We're still going to do Beyond the Buzzer, Kyle and I. It's always going to be the show between us. I think just going back is going to be able to give us better opportunities to talk more about the things that, in the offseason, the NFL, as well as talking NBA here and there and getting into baseball and other things. But we're going to go back to one night a week starting actually next week. So we will do the Super Bowl wrap-up show. But the good news is we'll go to an hour and a half on Thursday so we can give you a little more content on Thursdays. So don't worry. Kyle and I are not going anywhere. And you never know, me and Kyle might pop up in places. But the I-95 family is growing extremely. There's some things in the works. We have new things coming. And don't worry, the 9 o'clock time slot will be filled very quickly. But Bobby and the crew, Kyle and myself, we have a lot of things under wraps. And don't worry, real G's move in silence like the word lasagna. So for myself, the student of the game, and Captain Raptor.
Captain Raptor.
Love my dinosaur, baby.
Yes, that's throwback. I mean, he went from the Brooklyn beanie to the Raptor beanie. the Booker hat to the Raptor beanie all in less than a 45-minute time slot. I'm Danny Thompson. Check out Kyle and I on the 3pointconversion.com. Check me out daily on the 3pointconversion.com with the Hornets show. Haps TV with Hornets post-game live every single game of the season. And like I said, you never know we'll see Kyle pop up on a show. Check out his work at Hilarity by Default as well, too. Outstanding podcast. Listen, if you're looking for something different to see Kyle in a different light than this, if you think he's funny on this foolishness, go check him out at Hilarity by Default, because the first word is hilarity.
He's not wrong, folks.
And check out Bobby Blackjack's show, because that's coming.
It might be tomorrow morning, actually.
Here we go.
Bobby, Bobby, the way this is going, I'm gonna call you the Dr. Dre of sports hosts, because
It's dropping.
The Bobby Blackjack show is like the Detox album. Are we getting it anytime soon?
The Detox.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, guys, have a great night. And Danny, before we go, I heard you missed this. See you guys on Monday.